as a scientist, what was the conversation like coming back the other way?
It's two things. One is how we communicate the science to the policymakers, but the other thing is, in the first place, understanding the needs of policymakers and having policymakers influence our research questions. Like, I think this type of applied science cannot just come up with research questions that are informed purely through science. You know, it's like the ivory tower type of science. But the research questions, what the society needs to know about these issues like rice-based farming, need to come from the stakeholders.
Things are changing really, really fast. The biggest question I think we face as researchers is how do we anticipate and align the research with the fast rate of change, and how do we make sure that the research we do today will still be relevant in 5 or 10 years. And that's particularly true of some of the Mekong countries. And I guess I like to frame that in the question is, who are the farmers today that we have to talk to today who will still be the farmers in 5 or 10 years, so that the research we do becomes and retains its relevance in 5 or 10 years.
The strongest message for me is scientists also have to think about how to explain or how to distill the information on basic research to policymakers. This is my, main message to me.
Two things strike me about the Mekong, and I know about them, but I never cease to be surprised. One is the rapid pace of change. This region has been growing rapidly, its population is growing, all sorts of opportunities, all sorts of changes occurring. So that's the first point, is just how fast things change. And I think about the first time I came here, probably 30 years ago now, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, every time I come, it changes faster. The second thing about it is that I think a lot of people in Australia particularly think of rice being just one system, big open plains of rice, and that's how you grow rice. And every time I think about rice farming systems in this region, there's a diversity of systems. Some grow one crop a year, paddy rice, others grow 2 crops, others grow 3 crops. Some mixed with other crops, vegetables, forages for livestock, and so on. So we think of it in a very narrow view sometimes, and the researchers have been exploring all of those different types of farming systems. It's not just one system, there's many. There's not just one challenge, there's many. And there won't be just one answer, there will be many.
From this workshop, one big point that I have learned is that for the rice-based farming system, we should not concentrate only about rice, but we have to think about how to diversify activities, or helping farmers to diversify their agriculture activities, because the experience that we learned from this workshop from Vietnam, from Thailand, who used to be rice exporter, or who are a rice exporter, and today they face many problems about rice exportation. And so why Laos and Cambodia have to repeat the same situation, the same pathway? So we have others choice that to increase the farmers' income by the diversification of their activities, like vegetables growing, or livestock, or others activities. For example, this is the big point that I have learned from this workshop.